5 whole days. That's insane. Hello and welcome to DumbphonesUK. My name's Joseph. I look at dumb or dumber devices on the UK market, and today we're looking at the Mudita Kompakt. Stop, please do, I've never done that before, please do like, please do subscribe. It really helps me, it helps you, it helps the channel. It means that I can show you more devices like this. It means that I can give you so much more, so I'd really appreciate it, so thank you very much. I've been using this device for a month so that I can give you an honest, full, frank review on how it works. Is it a device that can actually work in the real world? Is it a nice idea, or is it something that we can use? Now, for those people that have seen my videos, you'll know that I've side-loaded some stuff onto it, so maybe that's made it more usable, and in this video we're going to cover it all off. I've included things I've noticed as I've been using it, as I've been making my notes on it throughout the month. I think we should just dig into the video and see where this phone stands out, where it maybe needs some improvements, and then let's go from there. Stick around to the end to find out if it's my daily driver. The final thing that I just wanted to mention as well is I have a screen protector on this device. So I have a screen protector, so the sort of glossiness on the device and the reflections that you see are because I have a screen protector. Here it is, the Mudita Kompakt on a log outside, so you can see this delightful little phone. Let's dive into it. A quick little look at I've been calling it a backlight, and I've been reliably informed it's a front light on this device. So there you go, you can see that I've turned it on and off, and you can also see a slight delay as I move the brightness up and down on the screen. As ever, and as expected with e-ink screens, we are going to get some ghosting. So I've got myself just tapping away through the phone and using it, and actually, as I jump between apps and move around, I wanted to show you some ghosting on the screen. It's quite hard to show, but hopefully there, at that point, you can see the app sort of burnt into the screen. As I said, that isn't unexpected with e-ink devices, but it is something to note, and I thought it would be useful to showcase that to you. Unlike the minimal device, there isn't an e-ink refresh button, so it doesn't actually refresh at your request. It does it when the phone wants to, which is just something to note. I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone here by showing you that I can sideload a podcast app, but also the speaker volume. So I'm going to be quiet for a sec.
Much has been made of this, but Vish, more teams, more football, more money, more lambs to the slaughter.
You can hear that the volume on the speaker is pretty loud. That is pretty good. I'm focusing on an app that I've sideloaded for maps here because I did do a video that showcased maps and they didn't offer turn-by-turn direction, things like that. So I wanted to show an app that perhaps was a little bit better than that, arguably. So here we have Here We Go Maps, and on that I am just selecting a walking route to a station. And I just wanted to show you, just while I am static and sat down, that turn-by-turn directions are possible. Just to highlight though, turn-by-turn directions are possible on the device, but the text-to-speak output isn't possible. I'd have to make further changes to that, and in this instance, I was outside, I was already trying to make the video, so I hadn't done it. So we don't get any audio descriptions in terms of the map, but I just wanted to show you that when I start this, as I move the phone, you can see that it does pivot and move and change to show that the device is picking up the movement, which is really handy. And the next thing I'll do is actually get this phone out and about and follow that walking route and show you what that looks like. So I've got up, I'm walking around, you can see that I have moved positions and I've selected Morden Underground Station and I am getting on with those directions. Now, I purposely walk a different way to what it's suggesting. I would like to see how quickly it picks up that I'm walking a different direction and reconfigures the map, basically. So you can see at the moment, it can tell that I'm walking in the wrong direction. You can see it trying to catch up, but it does take a little second. So I carried on walking, and then in this next shot that I've taken, you will see that it has picked up where I'm stood. And as I walk, you will see that it follows where I'm walking, which is exactly what we'd expect it to do. So once I've side-loaded an app, and as I mentioned earlier, this is Here We Go Maps, it is working as we expected. And I just also wanted to keep this running so you can see the glare on the screen. I do want to restate that I have a screen protector on this, so it wouldn't be as glary, if that's a word, if I didn't have the screen protector on. But you can see, as I get close to the turning, I'm getting closer on the screen as well, and the great news is, as I take this turning, and you'll see it in the video in a second, it also then turns with me. So the maps are working as we expect on a side-loaded app. I would like to re-stress on this device, it isn't designed to have social media on it. Now, the reason I've downloaded Instagram here is 1, to show you what it looks like, and 2, because it comes with a video function, and out of the box, as we know, this device doesn't have a video function. Just showing how Instagram renders, you can see that it does work, but actually it doesn't work particularly well due to the e-ink nature of the device. You can see that I've hopped into Reels here, and you can see that it's working, but not particularly well. So I wouldn't be recommending this device to be using on social media. And also that doesn't fit in with the ethos of Mudita either. But I wanted to show you because I knew that I would get questions on it. Now, the other reason that I installed Instagram, as I mentioned, was because I wanted to use the video feature of it. As you can see that I've hopped into adding a story on Instagram, and I have clicked add. And this usually on a normal, quote unquote, normal phone would show you the preview. Right now it's just showing me a black screen, so I didn't know if that was to do with my app, something that had gone wrong. So what I did was I hopped back out, went back into adding a story, back into the camera, and you can see that, yep, it just is a black screen. So what I did was I clicked start video, turned my phone round, talked to my device, and then the idea was I would see the output, and I will pop the output at the end of this video as well. So you can see that it has recorded because the screen is showcasing that, and I saved the video just to see how it all works. One thing that I did find was that when I hopped into my pictures or my gallery, when I had saved it from Instagram, it wasn't saved in my gallery. To find it, I had to actually connect it to my computer, go through files and find it that way. So just as a heads up, it doesn't save it directly to your gallery. I think this is recording. Give it a go. Typing on this device is obviously a big topic and one that people want to know about, so I just thought I'd do a really quick video to show you that, as you can see in the screen, typing is a little bit different on this device. The reason being, it's an e-ink screen, it takes slightly longer to register your clicks, but I know that typing is important to people, so I'm going to go quiet for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back in as I showcase both just normal typing, as I'm doing now, and then I'll showcase swipe to type on the Gboard. But for now, enjoy the typing. And here is the swiping on the keyboard. Again, you can see that as I swipe, you'll see the swipes on the screen, but slightly delayed from when I've actually done them. But it's working pretty well. Even though it takes a little bit longer to register what you're doing, the actual output of the text is fairly accurate. So I think that is something that we should be praising, in all honesty. So if you install Gboard, which I have done, swipe to type works as well. One thing that I noticed a lot of people talking about online was the fact that the alarm didn't ring at the right time. This isn't something that I've experienced, and I thought it'd be useful just to show you that that isn't true from my side at least. I'm not saying it's not true for the people that have raised it, so I created an alarm for a couple of minutes after where we are now, and we're just going to sit and wait and see whether that alarm actually goes off at the right time. You can see from my watch that it says 11:47, but my watch could be quick, and the good news is the alarm starts and comes on at the time we expect. Phone calls, perhaps the most important thing on a phone, although arguably these days less so. I wanted to show that they work. They work very well, and I popped this on speaker and I wandered off into the park and I talked to my device.
So I am walking away, so I've not picked up the camera, and hopefully you are hearing this. It's outside, obviously, so slightly different in terms of audio.
slightly different in terms of audibleness, is that a word? But I thought I'd give it a test anyway, so this is the speaker. I have never had any problem with signal or calls on this device. It works well. A nice little feature on this device is the fingerprint sensor on the side. Now, that isn't new to people with smartphones, but it is pretty good on this device. It works pretty well. I will talk about it later, but I do think due to the size of the device and the placement of the device and the placement of the fingerprint sensor, there are times where you will often click it when you're putting it away in your pocket, which is a bit of a pain. So that's why I've set it up using my index finger as well, and you can have multiple fingers stored on there. It works really well. I've not had any problems with the unlock sensor. The offline switch is brilliant on this device. I've talked about it before, I'll talk about it again. So by clicking that button down, you go to offline plus mode. And one thing I did notice when using this device was when I tried to load the camera when I was in offline plus mode, it actually didn't work, but it intentionally didn't work. So I hop into camera here. If I go back to actually trying to take a photo, it says, no, you're in offline plus, you're trying not to use your device. I think that's a really nice feature. Also, I hopped into Here We Go Maps as well, and again, that didn't work. So the offline plus worked really well, and to pop it back into connected, you flick that up, and it goes back to connected. Great. I wanted to show you some photo and video samples on this device. So nice and simply, I took some photos, I compared them to my iPhone X, and I will pop them side by side, and you'll be able to see the output of these. Again, I just used Instagram to take those videos. Here we go. So I've got no idea how this looks, and this is me looking at my iPhone, this is me looking at the Mudita Kompakt, and I'll make sure I change the audio between the two. Hope that's useful, and the ground is, I'm going to be honest, a little bit unsteady. The battery life on this device is great. I go into it in more detail later in the video, but I wanted to show you using it how the battery life is impacted. So as you can see, I was on 49%, and then what I did is I loaded up Here We Go Maps, and I navigated to somewhere 30 minutes away, I think, 31 minutes away, I believe it was. And so what I did is I started walking, and off we go on this trip, and about 10 minutes into the trip, I stopped and I checked the device just to check it was all working. One thing to note while we're here, actually, is that when I was running Here We Go Maps in the background, it wouldn't let me unlock my device with just my thumb. I had to actually click it, and then it said touch the power button to unlock. That wouldn't work, so I had to enter my passcode. So once I'd entered my passcode, it all started working again, and as you can see, I'm 24 minutes away in this video, but everything is holding out and working as expected. I then arrive at my destination, and you can see I stop it slightly early because I know where I was going, I'll be completely honest. And then I hop in to have a look at the battery to see what that's done. So 30 minutes battery use of me running the maps has dropped it by 3%. So not too bad. One thing I wanted to do was just cover off the pros of things that I've really liked, basically, while I've been using this device. I think it's quite a nice, neat little way to wrap everything up. The company and their understanding and, I guess, willingness to listen to feedback. So for example, I talked through the fact that I side-loaded stuff created a video on how to do that. The company themselves have said that they are going to put side-loading within their Mudita portal now, which is amazing. They understand there is a want for it, and so they've looked to action it, which is a great thing and shouldn't be understated. So I wanted to flag that up. The second thing I wanted to talk about with this device is the battery life. People will ask me about battery life for this for a long old time. And what I can say to you is, if you have not side-loaded your phone, if you just have the basic Mudita apps on it and you use your phone not that regularly. When I was using my iPhone, I was using it about an hour and a half a day. So I've been using this for, 40 minutes-ish a day, replying to messages and things like that. I get 5 days out of this device. 5 whole days. That's insane. That's amazing. The battery life on this is incredible. With side loading, when I've been using maps, when I've been using a podcast application, or Spotify, I found it goes down to around 3 days, 4 days, roughly 3.5-ish, which is still amazing. So just to flag up, 5 days without sideloading, let's call it 3 days with sideloading. So if you were going to download Spotify on this device, then it's worth noting that you can't log in using the Google method because this is a de-Googled device. So to get around that, the workaround is that you have to create a new account and just log in using a password. Just wanted to flag that because I think it's very useful to know if you're considering this device and Spotify is something that you feel you need. One little Easter egg in this device that is a massive pro that I only found out fairly recently is if you go in to your phone settings, you can then block all hidden numbers or all unrecognised numbers. So what that means is you're not going to get any spam or nuisance calls. You're just going to get calls from people you have in your phone book. That is peace of mind. That is a real plus, and Mudita don't talk about it enough. And I wanted to mention it here because I think that is great. I think that's a really nice feature and something that I really like that they've implemented. Two other quick pluses of this device are the headphone jack. I mean, what's not to like about having a headphone jack? And then also it's within the SIM card tray, you have the option for expandable storage as well. So you can add storage to this device, which doesn't really happen on new modern phones. So again, just two things to mention very quickly, but nice little pros for this device. And then finally, as I showed you in the video, and as you will understand if you know this device, it's this offline mode. It's that button there that switches us to offline plus, which then just completely removes all signal, not just like popping into airplane mode. This is premium. But the offline plus feature is really nice as well. And if you just want quick peace of mind that you're not going to get anything, bang, click it, and you're good to go. I'm going to cover off a few things that I think fall between, they're not quite cons, I'll jump into them and you'll understand what I mean. So for example, number one, all of the music sits in one giant playlist. Now people love to have playlists, but at the moment, and I think this is something Mudita are working on, all of the music just sits in one big file if you put your music on it via a computer. Obviously if you're streaming on Spotify, that's all very different. But right now, music just sits in one big file. Some people can use that and be fine with that, others aren't. Wanted to mention it. As I showed in my video as well, the typing on this device isn't bad, but it's also not good. I think you have to be very intentional with the way that you type, and the keyboard doesn't offer any suggestions or spelling corrections or anything like that. So if you're used to using autocorrect, that isn't possible on here. The placement of the unlock button here is very much where my thumb sits. So as you can see there, as I tap it, the device unlocks. Now, when I'm walking, when I take my phone out, when I pop it in my pocket, often my thumb will sit on that button and unlock the device. To combat this, what I've done is I've added my finger instead, so I can put my finger on it and I can unlock the device. But it's worth flagging and mentioning that the placement of that and the fact that it is, well, such a nice size, but also quite easy to pop your thumb on it. That means it unlocks it, and then therefore, you know, as you're walking, you can accidentally touch things on this touchscreen e-ink device that you don't want to. Couple of quick cons to mention on this device. The clock and the alarm that you saw is just that. We have a clock, we have an alarm, that's it. There's no timer, there's no countdown timer, there's no stopwatch on this device. There are things that I think will come in time, but they don't exist at the moment. It's quite basic in terms of the stuff that it offers in regards to clocks and timers and things like that. Second thing I want to reference is Android Auto. This doesn't work with Android Auto. I don't think we'd expect it to work with Android Auto, but it is worth mentioning. So if you do use Android Auto, it's worth noting this doesn't work at the moment. Another thing that isn't necessarily a con actually is that it doesn't come out of the box with the ability to take video. That might not be something that you care about, it might not be something that you want, but as you saw in this longer video that I've done, I'm able to take videos if I sideload and download an app that does videos, and it is able to store them. It's just out of the box, you don't have that functionality. Another thing, it doesn't have speak to text as well. So if you are somebody who likes to dictate to your phone and it writes everything you're saying, this isn't the one for you at the moment. Again, that might be something that comes down the line, but right now, that doesn't exist. Perhaps we're starting to get to the bigger cons here. The calendar app on this is not good. It doesn't sync. It doesn't really work, in all honesty. If you want your calendar app to just be on the Mudita, then hey, you got an app that's going to work for you. Although, arguably, there are some issues with the calendar app. Everything can only be added in 15-minute increments. And if you want a reminder, the only reminder that you can get is 5 minutes before the event. Now, I have things where I need to be reminded about it 3 hours before, so I travel to the gig that I'm going to do. What? 5 minutes? This needs to be updatable. We need to have the ability to change that 5-minute reminder to a 3-hour reminder, a 5-hour reminder, a daily reminder. Currently, the only workaround is that you put your actual event in at the time that you want it and you get your 5-minute reminder, but then you also put in an event earlier in the day when you actually need a reminder about the event, which I'm sure you can, just through me talking about it, it's confusing. The calendar needs work. The fact that it doesn't sync with other calendars is also a bit of a problem. Something to be improved, and I do think Mudita will do it, but right now, this really isn't that fit for purpose. And the final thing I wanted to address, some will view it as a pro, some will view it as a con. You can decide on where you fall within that. Anything that you sideload onto the Mudita Kompakt will not get notifications. So just to make you completely clear about what I'm saying there, if you pop WhatsApp onto this device through sideloading, and there's no other way to do it currently, you're not going to get notifications for WhatsApp. So there's an argument that that's great, that you decide when you go into WhatsApp and see your notifications. There's also the other side of the coin where people will say, well, I'd like notifications, please. That isn't possible at the moment through any side-loaded app. I've got Beeper installed in here, and you can see that I do have notifications running along the side of it. I don't get any of those notifications. I have to go into the app and find those out myself. Is it my daily driver? Well, no, not quite. The reason being I do a lot of driving for my job, and the fact that this struggles, let's be honest, with maps is a bit of a low point for me. I've installed the Here We Go maps, as you saw in that video, but then I'll need to install a few other things so I can get turn-by-turn instructions. So that's something for me to try and do, and if I can solve that and get it working in the car, that's a different story. But right now, it's not quite there. It's a lovely phone to have on the weekend to decompress, to put my SIM card in, decompress, and only get notifications that I want, but it's not quite there for me yet. I do think over time this is going to improve, and it could sort of fall into daily driver territory. I think with it being e-ink, the fact that it doesn't have a one-click button to refresh the e-ink is potentially a bit of an oversight and something that maybe should have been thought about. And the fact that you only have one colour of backlight as well, you basically have this or this, I feel like that could have been thought about as well, especially as they thought about it on the torch in terms of having the two different coloured torches. But I think there is room for improvement in the Mudita Kompakt, and that's a good thing. That's a place that we want to be. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. It's very much appreciated. Behave yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.